Now you talked about Al Bruno, Big Al Bruno.
Mm.
Can you talk about who he was and your relationship with him in those early years?
So me and Bruno were like cousins. Him and my mother have the same cousin on my mother's side. So we always referred to me as my cousin when we went, to New York and other cities. And so he was the one. He was always at my father's store. He golfed with my father. He was a good friend with my father. My father was a legit, legitimate hard worker, but Bruno liked that. Bruno liked being around businessmen. He liked being around guys that were not in that life, that had money. He could go to them, not my father, but he could go to them and borrow money and whatever. And he liked that aspect. And so I got close with him. I liked his style. He was flashy type, dressed nice, drove nice cars, was always out eating dinners, nice, the best restaurants there were. He smoked cigars. Everything that he did, I liked. That's how I lived. So I was close with him, and we were very close. And he's the one that kind of brought. They all wanted me into the. Anthony DeLavo was another one-time boss of the family. He wanted me with them. They all have. Bruno was the one that like proposed me, but they all have to okay you to be around them, and they all did. So, but Bruno was the one that I was doing most of my rackets with in the mob rackets. He was the one I was making money with.
Gotcha. Now, like you said, you're proposed at this time. You've got several guys around you. Two guys in particular are the Geas brothers. They go along with you on a hit in New York. Can you talk about your relationship with those guys, and then how the three of you carried out this hit in New York?
So Freddie and Ty Giaz, I was in prison with Ty. We're both young kids in a state prison. Young, he was like 18, I was 20, and we were around serious men, and we acted like crazy nuts in there. I mean, we were loan sharking, doing sports, fighting, and they warned us if we get in any more trouble, they're going to send them to the max. And that's what happened. Ty ended up in another fight. They sent him to the max. He was supposed to come home right after me in 91, and instead he had to do 5 more years, and all of it was in the hole. So he came out all fucked up in 96. Freddie, I met him in prison. Freddie was a prison guard at the time that we were in prison, and then he used to come up and visit them. My family used to come up, so we all met at the visiting room, and we all would have visits out there. It was a nice prison we were at, so we could our families come up, their families, and we could get together, and that's how I met them. And then when I got out, me and Freddie started hooking up, and he was morally low level into, family owned the jewelry store. He was into like, people come in with credit card type stuff and things like that. I got him into more of the drug business, like the cocaine and marijuana. He didn't ever do nothing about sports gambling, loan sharking. He didn't like any of that. He used to bring me customers for that stuff. And so that's how I got them. But one thing I knew, we were all alike. We were all very violent. We were all me and Ty did prison time, but Freddie eventually did prison time. And they're the only guys around here that were capable of, committing acts of murder, that along with myself that we could count on. And that's what we did. I was told to kill a guy in New York City. The two guys around me, Joey Bazil and Reno, they ran away. And they were proposed members, and they're lucky that they're alive, especially Joey Bazil. And they ran away. As soon as, you mention the gun and they're going to shoot, you see how many guys are tough guys until it's time to you say, hey, here's the gun, now go shoot and kill. So they ran away. I went to Freddie and Ty. That was like asking them to let's go for dinner. And we went to New York and we shot the guy 9 times. And, a few months after that, I got it formally inducted into the Mafia by the bosses in New York City. So I was like, they loved us, going to New York and shooting a guy on the streets of New York, 9 times. The bosses loved us, loved me, and obviously my crew that, did it with me. And so, yeah, they, that's a big thing to get made in New York City, especially by the Genovese crime family. They don't make guys, and especially coming from, Western Mass, Springfield, to get made in New York City was a very highest honor that you could ask for if you're looking to get into that life. which made me the most powerful guy outside of New York. You know, coming back into Connecticut and, you know, Western Mass, Central Mass, Boston, Eastern Mass, all, you know, it makes me the most powerful guy out there because I'm with the biggest, strongest family there is.
Right. Now you said you shot the guy 9 times. I think you said last time the guy ended up living. Is that right?
Yeah, we went up. He was in the car, sitting down like this. We shot him right through the window. Every shot hit him from his chest up. He's still got a couple of bullets in him. He was on a podcast speaking
Mm.
about it. And, you know, we thought he was dead. He went up, he yelled to his wife and said, hey, you know, and then he collapsed. The ambulance came miraculously. The next day we heard he did die, but he didn't. And he survived.
Mm. Yeah, that's crazy, man.